All right, so something kind of happened today, huh? That was a little bit of a busy day today. We're not expecting Luke to get fired today, but as you know, this is Greg. I'm Greg Bergman, at Bergman Greg on Instagram and on Twitter. This is Andy Kamenetsky, at Cam Brothers, and please know where we're at right now. This is a crazy, crazy day, and this is ShowtimeForum. I'm a little bit all off right now, but this is ShowtimeForum. The biggest news today is that Luke Walton was fired, and I really I want to do.
He and the organization agreed to part ways.
Correct. So I know that a lot of you guys are really upset. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going out around, and I really just want to get right into the crux of it with you. I know I only have about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I want to really get into the crux of it with you. Really, what is the biggest things that are happening? What we know, the facts.
Well, I mean, this felt inevitable. This
Right.
felt like where we were going to be headed.
Knew it was going to happen.
The surprise is not that Luke Walton ended up leaving the Lakers. The surprise is everything that led up to it, with Magic leaving, which at least offered the possibility that perhaps Luke Walton could end up staying a little longer. But ultimately, especially with him being linked to the Sacramento Kings job and the lack of outward security and backing that he's had from the Lakers all year, it stands to reason that, and it's been reported by Ramona Shelburne, that Luke wanted to try to get some type of additional job security and, an extension, something like that, wasn't able to get it. So they decided that they needed to part ways.
Right. I mean, that's basically, so we are kind of under the opinion of that. He walked in and said, look, you're probably getting rid of me. You thought you were getting rid of me on Wednesday. Luke said this. And then he said, why don't you just give me an extension, or at least say the second year is done, and if not, let's just part ways. That's kind of where we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't be a lame duck 2 years in a row.
No.
I mean, we've already seen what happened with Luke this year in terms of having his knees cut out. And whatever you think of Luke as a coach, and I like parts of Luke. There are issues I've had with Luke's coaching. I think he has a lot of potential. But either way, he can't reach it if you don't have the backing. And he clearly didn't have the backing all year. He needed to get that standing back if he was going to be able to get the rest of the team to buy in.
All right, so how important is this for the Lakers organization? What does it actually say? Because now Luke is gone. We know that he is gone, and Rob Pelinka is still there. Rob Pelinka was the one that actually had said what happened. He was the one that put out the press release that said, Luke is gone. We have agreed to part ways. Luke is no longer the Lakers head coach. So that, in my mind, says to me that Rob Pelinka is here kind of for the long haul at this point.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I hear a lot of people talk about this Littlefinger guy.
Right. He is very much Littlefinger.
I was going to say, from the way this has been described to me, he's a Littlefinger going on Pelinka.
The biggest thing that Littlefinger said in Game of Thrones was that chaos is not a pit, chaos is a ladder. Mm-hmm. And so when there's chaos all around
that's where that expression came from?
That is absolutely where it came from.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's what...
I just heard it. I thought it was
that's what it is. Chaos is not a pit, so it is a ladder. If the chaos is around you, if you hook on to the right people, you can climb the ladder to becoming a bigger part of the organization, which Rob Pelinka is doing, because look at him now. He is now the guy that is going to be the president of basketball operations, most likely. Or that's kind of what we're assuming at this point, or they're not going to hire that position.
I was going to say, it remains to be seen whether or not Rob Pelinka ends up in that position, or if he remains general manager and the people work beneath him. Right. It doesn't seem, though, like they're going to be hiring somebody above Rob Pelinka.
Right.
It doesn't seem that way. It seems like he's consolidating power. And if nothing else, I would think that they're not hiring somebody above Rob Pelinka, because I'm not sure who they would get. I feel like if Rob Pelinka is a condition, and this certainly is not just my opinion or my perception, it seems like if Rob Pelinka is a non-negotiable part of taking that job, you're going to be limiting your pool of candidates in terms of the people that you'd be bringing in with that front office.
Right. The front office, there's so many guys that you can actually really go after, like the Masai Ujiri. You can go after Bob Myers. You can go after Tim Connolly in Denver. You can go after Sam Presti in Oklahoma City. Even R.C. Buford in San Antonio kind of makes sense because Pop is leaving.
Yeah, I mean, you may not get these guys.
Right, but you can go after them.
But you're definitely not going to get them if Rob Pelinka is a non-starter, in terms of you have to get rid of him.
And I think that's kind of where we're at here, is that because Rob seems so ingrained in all of this and that he is going to be here, that you're not going to get some of these guys. And it looks like at this point, by firing Luke now, it's the perception of all of this. Everything that's happening around you is the perception. The perception is that Magic Johnson just stepped down randomly out of nowhere 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it was. And now today you fire Luke Walton, but Rob is still there. So it seems like, okay, he's there but how everything was done was just done incorrectly.
I mean, Ramona Shelburne, who we both work with, great reporter at ESPN.
Absolutely. She's been on this Showtime.
Yeah. I forgot. She was like one of your first big get guests.
She was the first big get guest for.
You know what? It's the equivalent of when David Letterman on his original late night NBC show, he came out of the gate. His first guest was Bill Murray.
Oh,
this is the equivalent. Ramona Shelburne is a heavy hitter.
Go big or go home. That's what we do here, Andy.
But she's even reported that, this was like a day or so ago, that it appeared like Rob Pelinka was in a position to have his power expanded, maybe temporarily, maybe moving forward. And it's still not a given that his power is going to be permanently expanded, but it certainly seems that way right now.
Yeah, and that's just a terrible place for us as fans. I mean, we're looking at it in the sense of fans, as writers, as producers, everything that's happening. You look at it and you say, everybody knows that Rob Pelinka is the wrong choice for the Lakers. Everybody, from what you're hearing, every article, every person on the radio, George Sedano yesterday was going in on the fact that Rob Pelinka was the wrong choice for the Lakers, except for the 5 people in that room in El Segundo.
Here's the thing. What makes, to me, Rob Pelinka the wrong guy for this job isn't so much bringing him in for that job. Or he's not who I would have hired in the first place, and I had reservations about it. But what makes it worse is the idea that you would limit yourself to him, that you would attach yourself to somebody with his lack of experience, with a reputation around the league that doesn't seem to be favorable. He built up a lot of animosity as an agent, as a lot of agents often do, but that you would tie yourself to him in such a limiting way when you're already a very insulated organization to begin with. It speaks to a lot of the issues that have created problems for you, particularly since the passing of Dr. Buss in the first place.
Yeah, and I want to, because I only have a few minutes with you, I want to get some of the questions in here because there's a lot of people in here that want to talk to you. Big Games James says on Instagram, Cambro, blink twice if Bergman is holding you hostage. Don't do it. I know you want to, but don't do it.
I just blinked once, and I'm gonna leave it up to a mystery for everyone else.
Caustic187 says, at work, can't stay, but damn, please not Lou. And I think obviously talking about Ty Lue. So let's talk about the coaching search just for a second, because first of all, we're going straight into coaching search and not even talking about the GM search. It's all about who's the next coach going to be, which that's kind of backwards to me.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows exactly how it's going to go. The indication maybe that you'd get from going coach first would be that the Magic role is already filled. We just don't officially know it yet.
I don't think they know what they're doing up there, because Magic came out of nowhere. From everything we've heard from insiders, people came around here, like Byron Scott was around ESPN, and so was Ramona Shelburne. No idea this was happening. You were there. We have a GIF of you. We have a GIF of you with your eyes bug-eyed and looking, oh my god!
You guys made it for me. I appreciate that. It's hilarious. Right. I love it.
It had happened out of nowhere, and now it looks like everything's kind of going in backwards. We don't know what's actually happening. If you were in charge of the Lakers, I know you're not, and that's probably a better thing for everybody. No offense.
Wait, what? Whoa,
I'm just kidding.
I'm not the one making these mistakes, man.
No, you're not. You would do a better job than Rob. I will give you that.
I mean, I might make mistakes running the organization, but my mistake would not be living inside my own bubble. I would make mistakes outside the bubble.
Sure.
But those are better mistakes.
Yeah. All right, so what would be your first act? Let's say, and just go through it. Give me what you would do from beginning to end to really fix the organization top to bottom.
Were I Genie or were I Rob?
You're Genie.
My first thing I would do is expand my pool of candidates. I would be looking beyond the people that I'm familiar with, beyond the people that I'm comfortable with, beyond the family. Yeah, I would expand as wide as possible, because again, remaining insulated has caused issues for this organization. And also too, if I'm Jeannie Buss, you need to start taking a more active role in what's going on. I don't mean being interfering. I don't mean, becoming a hands-on owner that's like James Dolan and gets in the way of things. I just mean there's been a lack of communication often. There's been a lack of trust throughout the organization. And if you're going to start creating top-down cohesiveness, top-down, that starts literally from the tone that you're setting. And that requires, I think, more involvement, more direct, more of a presence, an authoritative presence from Jeannie.
Right. So full disclosure, we've had this discussion off the air already. We did it off the air for Mason and Ireland. Mm-hmm. We had it off before this. You want Jeannie involved with everything, but not having a say in the room.
No,
All right, I know. I'm mischaracterizing you. That's what I'm asking you. Tell me.
I'm not saying that I think Jeannie Buss needs to become more active or having more of an overruling voice in the basketball decisions that she doesn't feel comfortable with. What I'm saying is she needs to just keep more communication. There needs to be more of a sense of her being in the loop of what's going on, having a presence with what's going on. It doesn't mean that she overrules people. It doesn't mean that she tries to insert basketball knowledge that she doesn't have. It means that you have to feel like she's taking accountability for what is going on.
Okay, so when things go wrong, you want her to say, this is on me.
Well, ultimately, it is on you anyway, so you might as well be in the loop.
Right.
If you're the ultimate shot caller, at the end of the day, any problems that are within the organization, they fall on you. Because you're the person at the top. So again, you might as well be more in communication with people. You need to be more involved that way. So again, you feel that a sense of accountability, and then more people, I think, will feel a sense of accountability to you.
Right. So I basically
not interfering. It's not a matter of interfering. It's a matter of involvement and accountability.
Right. So the way that we kind of look at it is there's two separate sides of this. Right. There is the James Dolan side where he just kind of says, "All right, you guys do whatever you want."
But he used to be interfering.
He used to be interfering, and everybody wanted him to get out of the way, and
right.
It's still a dumpster fire, but he's not involved. And then you have Mark Cuban on the other side, who's very much front-facing in front of everything. He's very much involved in all the decision-making. He's involved with everything else. You want her in the middle of all of that. You want like the happy middle between that. And I think she's more on the James Dolan side, where we see that she is...
But you remember, though, she used to be very forward-facing. When she was running the business ops, Jeannie actually
the business is great. I have no problem. with the business
I'm not talking about the way she runs business. I'm talking about a presence.
Right.
I'm just talking about a presence with everything that's been going on. Because when it was Jim and Mitch running the front office, we would always hear that there was the business side and there was the basketball side. Never the twain shall meet. And Jeannie, we would hear reports, felt out of the loop. We've been hearing reports that she felt out of the loop with Magic, who's like her surrogate brother, and Rob Pelinka, who she brought in because of a trust factor that she felt like she had in the relationship going back to when he was Kobe's agent. At some point, if you're feeling out of the loop and a lack of communication, no matter who the regime is, you have to look at yourself and saying, am I allowing for that lack of communication to happen? Because if there isn't communication that begins at the top, your organization is never going to feel organized. It's never going to feel cohesive. And this is an extremely important time for everything to feel cohesive.
Right. I see what you're saying, but it seems like Jeannie Buss is the type of person that she allowed her brother, Jim Buss, and Mitch Kupchak to run the business. And by the way, Mitch Kupchak, for all the things that he did wrong, he did a great job before it was Jim Buss. Jim Buss was involved with all that. He brought in Pau Gasol. He did a lot of very good things for the organization. It was time for him to go. But she said, okay, Jim, Mitch, you have the floor. It's yours. You get the basketball. I'll take the business side. Business side boomed.
Right.
Basketball side dropped. She didn't like what she saw. She stepped in, fired her brother, fired Mitch, brought in Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka, which granted for no reason whatsoever than Kobe's agent, and was best friend or brother.
But that speaks to all the more reason why you need to be more involved, need to be more in the loop, because you're bringing in two people who don't have the experience.
Right, but so she obviously doesn't have that experience either. She doesn't. She said, "Here, you take those controls as well."
But it's not a matter of having experience in basketball operations. It's a matter of being in charge. Right. It's just a matter of you are the ultimate shot caller. Anybody who runs a business is in the loop of what's going on below them.
Right.
Again, it's not a matter of interfering. It's not a matter of, no, this is the way, these are the basketball decisions I think you should be making. It's just a matter of feeling like everybody's in communication. If for no other reason, then there's less of a threat of people doing things behind your back.
Yeah, I just don't see the difference between the two. I think
the people out there do.
All right,
I'm seeing some comments.
I
think they do.
Yeah, all right. We'll see what they have to say about it. But we will go with people. I got Ray L. Barbone asking for a friend, what's the best religion to pray for if Rob takes over over the best
Not a religious guy.
No, I'm not. But no, because he always says all those,
he
goes in manna from heaven and he starts,
it's
quoting
more,
the Bible.
It's more really about just getting a library card. It's more literary in a lot of ways than religious.
Right.
So you need to be very well read if you want to keep up with the plans moving forward if Rob's in charge.
I'm so done with the whole
Join a book
trolley
club.
car. Yeah, please go join the book club. I'm so tired of all this nonsense.
No, I meant these people.
Oh, yeah.
Join a book club if they're going to want to be able to keep up with Rob.
Yeah, nobody can keep up with Rob. I don't think he can keep up with himself. Shane K. Lee says, Jeannie and her trusted core need to wake up. Bad choices after bad choices, so frustrating. And I think that's how a lot of people feel, is that it's now coming down to, we talk so much about Rob, how he's going to stay around, how we don't have a coach anymore, Magic stepped down, and now what is that next step? And I think so many people are just not sure of what is actually happening, and a lot of that is because it's on Jeannie. Yeah. It's on Jeannie for not actually coming out and saying, hey, this is what's going on, this is my thought process.
It's too early right now to know
agree.
exactly what's going on. The problem is, it's felt like people didn't know what was going on leading up to this point. Nobody could reasonably expect the Lakers to know exactly what comes next now because Magic was a surprise. You know, the Magic element of all this was a sucker punch for everyone.
Right.
But it's felt like there's been a lot of chaos leading up to this point. And quite frankly, there's been a lot of chaos for the last 5 or 6 years. It just doesn't feel like they're being led in a specific direction from the top.
Right, and that's what, when Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka came in, that was what we were kind of sold on. Look, we're going to get a big star, we're going to get 2 big stars, and then the next year we're going to get another big star, and we're going to be back, and all that kind of stuff. And once Magic Johnson stepped down, which, let's be very, very clear, was the right decision. For him to leave.
Wrongly executed
right decision to let go of Luke, wrongly executed just as well, because why even let him go through the meetings? Okay,
this speaks to exactly why I'm saying Jeannie needs to be more of a presence.
Right.
You ended up losing. It's the way Magic described this there, and you could just hear Jeannie talk about Luke. She was very emotionally caught up in this. It was a very difficult thing for her in that she wanted to put her trust in Magic, but she obviously didn't want to fire Luke. But she didn't take a stance really either way. She would give outward support without actually supporting him. Like, at some point you either need to say, you know what, this is going to be difficult for me to watch, but Magic, I put you in charge of these decisions. I'm going to empower you to do this without attaching any type of emotional stakes to it that give you pause. Or you have to say, look, I'm not going to override you on many things, but I feel like Luke Walton is the right guy. I want to keep him. I will empower you to say you need to redo your staff. Like, that's non-negotiable if you're Luke. Otherwise, you will lose your job. You need to pick a direction one way or the other, and you have to remove the emotion from it, because the way this went down, you ended up losing the coach and Magic anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really end up with the result Jeannie wanted one way or the other.
Yeah, and we don't have any idea what's happening around besides all that. All we know is that we don't even know if Rob Pelinka is staying. We don't even know if he's being elevated. We don't know if what's happening, because nobody from the front office is saying anything. We can surmise, and we can guess that, look, Rob Pelinka put out the press release.
It certainly seems like he is consolidating power.
And yes, he's consolidating power, and he's, chaos's ladder, going up the ladder. But we can hear from people like Adrian Wojnarowski, and we can hear from people from Ramona Shelburne, Chris Haynes, all these other, Tanya Ganguly. It doesn't matter who it is. Everyone can say what they believe or what they're hearing, but we are not actually hearing from the front office itself. So we're getting people on here talking about Jeannie and her trusted core need to wake up. If you're a Jeannie, can you fire yourself? Jeannie, can you sell the team? All these. This is all Jeannie's fault. Well, I mean, honestly, it is, because she's not coming. I want her to come out and say exactly what's happening when she has all the answers.
I was going to say, she doesn't have all the answers yet.
I want the answers.
You have to make sure. Well, correct. She wants the answers.
Well, sure, of course.
And you have to do this you can't blow this press conference.
No.
Like, you have to do this at the right time. But she cannot afford at this point to get the coaching decision wrong.
Nope.
She cannot afford to get the decision wrong with either Rob Pelinka's role moving forward, the people that Rob Pelinka chooses to surround himself with moving forward, if he's ultimately in charge of the front office. Mistakes cannot be made anymore, because Magic and Rob Pelinka, but they were hires that were made from a place of comfort, from a place inside that bubble, without really, you made the really bold decision to fire your brother. Right. to go against your father's vision of how the organization would moving forward. And then once you did that, you didn't cast the widest net possible to put the organization back on track. You can maybe get a mulligan the first time around because it was so emotional, and you could maybe say, all right, at that point, you needed some sense of just familiarity in a very unfamiliar place. But now, you have to get these things right.
And one can argue that they've already gotten it wrong by still having Rob Pelinka involved in this.
It's not the direction. It's not the direction I'd go with for no other reason than I think you're limiting the possibilities of how you can go about getting yourself back on the right track. We'll see where it goes.
All right, well, with Rob Pelinka there, do you see in any way the right coach being hired? Like, let's say, and we'll go back to coach in just a second, but right coach, right GM, or right president of basketball operations, whichever does get hired, depending on what Rob Pelinka's role is.
To be honest with the coach, I have no idea. I have no idea what type of coach Rob Pelinka would look for. So I don't really
know anything.
But I'm saying I don't want to cast negativity on those type of decisions with Rob Pelinka because I honestly have no information. I have nothing to go on. So one way or the other. Rob might be great at hiring the next coach. He might be terrible at it. And some of this is going to figure into LeBron. And, LeBron's going to end up a part of this. He should the whole thing because they need to find an actual coach moving forward. But you need LeBron's buy-in or else this isn't going to work. Again, the front office, I've already said, I have less faith in the pool of candidates that Rob would have to choose from than the choices Rob would make, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And I think this is where
Rob might choose the right guys, but I think he's going to end up choosing from a lesser pool if he has to be there.
Right. And so let's say that some of the names that we have out there, I had something else, but I can't remember what it was. But let's say with the candidates that are kind of out there, we are looking at somebody. What is the type of coach? Don't worry about what Rob wants. What if you're Rob? I'm taking you away from the Genie role. I'm putting you in the Rob role. What type of coach are you looking for?
I want somebody that LeBron buys into, but I want somebody that LeBron buys into, but that I'm not hiring solely because of LeBron. If you are hiring somebody that you wouldn't otherwise hire specifically to placate LeBron, that's a bad move. Unless it becomes completely unavoidable, that's a bad move.
Totally agree with you, and I've been preaching this for quite some time. So with people think, well, you're just going to give LeBron whatever he wants. LeBron is going to be 35 in December. He's got a 4-year contract. It's actually 3 years with that one extra one. I know you can go in just a minute, but you can. So it's 3 years.
Oh.
Well, no, I know you need to go. I know you need to go, but he's going to have.
I remember asking permission.
No, then stay. So LeBron is going to have. Everyone says we should give LeBron whatever he wants. Just give him a coach. LeBron does whatever he wants on the floor whenever he wants. It doesn't matter who the coach is. He's going to run the offense he wants when he's on the floor. He's going to run the defense.
It matters, though, because without his buy-in, without some sense of buy-in, you're going to lose the rest of the team. Well, there's only so much the rest of the team is going to buy into your coach if they really feel like the coach has no authority at all, that he's just a pure puppet. So, Stars have a say in this. That's normal. And LeBron may be, 34, but he's still this team's star. So it's not unusual that they would look to give him a voice in this, and that he would weigh into the decision. It would actually be stupid not to have him weigh into it at all.
He should have a voice. He's like the Kobe. He's the Jordan. He's that guy that has the
yeah,
say.
I don't know if he should have a vote, but he should be factored into it. But
absolutely.
Again, ideally, you should be looking for somebody that fits the role beyond LeBron, because they need to stop this revolving door at coach. And if you hire somebody purely because of LeBron that you otherwise wouldn't hire, then you're going to end. You're just putting this coach on a clock.
Right. And so, if you're going to get somebody, and Alan Slee was going to walk in here in just a second because he needs to get his bag, and we're in this whole area here.
Yes.
But
commandeered it.
Right. But let's say you bring in Ty Lue. And you give him a 3-year contract, and then LeBron leaves, and then there's
you should give him a longer contract.
Okay, sure, but that's the thing. If you're going to bring in somebody like you're risking putting in a whole new. You're firing him again in 3 years and starting all over again.
No, but it depends. Do you like Ty Lue?
I don't personally.
Not you.
Okay,
them. If they like Ty Lue, if they like him as a coach anyway,
right? If
they like him anyway, that's fine, because then you're not setting up to hire to fire. It's only if, look, he's not a great coach, makes LeBron happy. That would make it bad.
That's kind of what it seems like.
I don't know.
Look,
Ty Lue does have a championship.
Sure, because of LeBron.
Well, whatever. Most coaches have.
What happened after LeBron left with Ty Lue?
I mean, the team fell apart.
Right.
I mean, but that's not Ty Lue.
No.
That's not Ty Lue. You can't put that on Lue.
No, but I mean, you ran. Everybody was gone.
Right.
There's nobody there.
Right. So I mean, but that's not on Ty
Kevin
Lue.
Love's still there, injured.
Right. I mean, they fired Ty Lue early into that season, and the team was already decimated. They didn't have Kevin Love. You can't put that on Ty Lue, regardless of what you think of him as a coach.
Sure, but he also quit the job because he was, or quit or fired. I don't remember exactly how it went, because of his health, where he was.
No, he didn't. He didn't quit over that. He took a time away from the team. He was actually let go because of.
Right. Yeah, okay, fine. He let him go because that wasn't working. LeBron wasn't there. Now you bring him back here, the same kind of thing happens, but he's not 32 anymore.
I don't know, but
he's 35.
He also has more. He also, though, Ty Lue has more experience. You know, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know enough about Ty Lue in the sense that it was just a small sample size to have really judged one way or the other. I'd want to talk to somebody like Dave McMenamin or Brian Windhorst, that was closer to Ty Lue, in terms of watching him as a coach.
Right.
All I'm saying is if the Lakers do their due diligence, and I really hope they do, and they decide, there are factors that we like about Ty Lue beyond just the relationship with LeBron.
What are those?
I don't know. I'm saying but you wouldn't ask me to know.
Right.
I haven't been close enough to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in the position to know.
Right. I mean, you're around the team as much as anybody.
Right. No, but I'm not around Ty Lue.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the right person, at least right now, until I start talking to more people who were closer to that.
Okay.
To know what would make Ty Lue a good or bad candidate. But the point is, if they decide for whatever reason that he is a good candidate beyond just LeBron, that makes him a suitable hire. And then we'll find out later, was it a good call? There's a difference between suitable hire and the correct one.
Okay.
Somebody can be suitable and still end up wrong.
Right. I agree with that. So we don't know what's going to be with Ty Lue.
Right.
My personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, is a guy like Monty Williams would be a good hire for this team.
I like Monty Williams.
He's learned under Pop. He's learned under Brett Brown. He's actually doing a really good job.
He's apparently in strong consideration, Monty Williams,
which is great. Which is a good thing.
And for what it's worth, he has a relationship with LeBron.
He has a relationship with LeBron. He was Anthony Davis's first coach in New Orleans. He's on Team USA. He is a defensive-minded head coach, which I think is a good thing.
Monty Williams has a lot of respect around the league. I'd be very happy with him.
Right. Then there's guys like Edere Messina, who's another one that was here in LA for a little while. Quinn
Knows
Snyder.
what it means to be a Laker.
Right. Well, see, but then, I mean, you're kind of getting back to that family type thing, which I'm not.
I'm kidding.
Right. No, I know. But Quinn Snyder would be another one. Yeah. He was here as an assistant coach as well. Yeah, it does have great hair.
On hair alone, you hire that
type
guy.
Hair. Yeah.
Oh, it's better than Rick Pitino.
Sure.
It's way better because, I mean, it's got body. I mean, like
the Pat Riley hair. Can we go with Pat Riley hair with the slick bag?
Yeah, but here's the thing though about Quinn Snyder's. Like, it's thick,
right?
But it flows. It's everywhere.
It is.
Like, he doesn't need to slick it back.
It's like an early 2000s Dirk Nowitzki.
I mean, look, I'll say it's hot. It's sexy. I mean, look,
it's beautiful hair.
That hair gets you to buy in if you're a player. You don't say no to that hair.
No, you absolutely don't. So guys like that, Edere Messina, a guy like, I mean, people are talking about Becky Hammon, but which I gotta be completely honest, I feel like she should stay in San Antonio, take over for Pop when he leaves. I don't think it's even fair to her to put her into a position to be around LeBron James and have to deal with that.
Well, that's also difficult when you're doing that. The LeBron factor. I was going to say while shattering the glass ceiling.
Yep.
I'm not saying she's incapable,
it's not fair
but it's just
her.
a lot.
Yeah, I just don't think that's fair. And I think she's an excellent coach.
Sure.
I think she's going to be a great head coach for San Antonio or wherever else she goes.
She has Pop's respect. That's good enough for me.
I totally agree with that. But I just don't think it's fair to go to the Lakers and LeBron and this dumpster fire of a front office at the moment with Rob Pelinka and people that we don't trust anybody in that front office, and we look like laughing stocks. The Lakers look like laughing stocks.
It's a tough time right now.
It is.
I got to roll.
All right, you got to roll. All right, you know I'm going to roll as well. Thank you very much for being here on Showtime Forum Postgame. I am Greg Bergman at Bergman Greg on Twitter and on Instagram, and this is Cam Brothers. This is Andy Kameneski at Cam Brothers on Twitter. Thank you guys.
Read me at The Athletic. Listen to me on ESPN LA 710.
Yep.
Pre-game, post-game for the Lakers. I'll be doing that next year.
Which is why he's here, because pre-game and post-game are not happening anymore.
Yeah.
So, much better that
Free
way.
time.
For me, now you can be on the show with me, so it's nice. All right, thank you guys very much. I appreciate you. I will be back here later tonight doing a Dodgers post-game, so I get a double dip tonight. All right.
Hardest working man in show business
That's
right here.
That's what I like to say. All right. See you guys later.